Over the years, Country's Family Reunion has featured your favorite country music legends sharing stories, laughter, and songs. You know, sometimes these country music legends included family duets, trios, or quartets. Well, on this special Country's Family Reunion gathering, we thought we'd ask all the family groups to sit a spell and sing some songs with us. Brothers, sisters, yeah. Cousins, moms, and dads were all invited to join in the fun. It's a Country's Family Reunion like no other, and we know you're gonna love it. Welcome to Country's Family Reunion, Kinfolk.
When the Whites first came to the Grand Ole Opry in the early 80s, this was their instrumentation. Buck played the mandolin, Sharon played the flat-top guitar, Cheryl played the upright bass.
Right.
Then where did the other instrumentation come in? You went to play an electric bass, and Buck started playing piano?
Well, Dad playing the piano just kind of evolved because that's what he had played that for years in dance hall bands in Texas. And when we moved to Arkansas, he played in church all the time. So we just happened to be in a little club that up in upstate New York, and we were on stage with our instruments, and he turned around and there was a piano, and we were playing Sweet Georgia Brown, and he hit it, and it was in good enough tune, and it started something because people started furnishing pianos at bluegrass festivals and everything. But the electric bass started after we had a couple of hit records, and the label really wanted me to learn the electric, and I fought it, kicking and screaming, but I'm really glad that I did now.
Now she's a multi-instrumentalist.
Oh yeah, I'm so versatile. I'm so versatile.
But what we're about to hear is kind of a throwback to the
Yes, that's
original
exactly
sound that the White House. Now, Rosie was not with you then either.
No,
Rosie was
she
a
joined us
cute
in
little
1982. When I took off to have my daughter Rachel, Sharon asked Rosie if she'd like to sing my part till I came back, and she stayed with us.
Well,
She
when
liked
Cheryl
it.
came back, I said, now, you know, there's not really a place that's made for you already, but you could make your own place. And she did, so that was, yeah.
All right, well, take us back to the early days. I love this great old song. It was one of my favorites as a kid by the Bales Brothers, and then y'all learned it from the record by Kitty Wells.
Yes, and we really want to honor them today. They were the first family in country music that we saw up close that taught us all how to do it, that you can have
Kitty and
music in
Johnny.
your life and honor God and put the Lord first in your family, and you can have your music too. Wow. And so they did that, and so that's kind of why we wanted to sing this.
I went into a home one day to see some friends of mine. Of all the books and magazines, not a Bible could I find. When I asked them for the Bible, they brought it, what a shame. The dust was covered over it, not a fingerprint was plain.
Dust on the Bible, dust on the Holy Word, the words of all the prophets and the sayings of our Lord. Of all the other books you'll find, there's none salvation hold. Get the dust off the Bible and redeem your poor soul.
You can read your magazines of love and tragic things, and not one verse of scripture do you know. But it is the truth, and its contents are good for you. Dust on the Bible will doom your poor soul.
Dust on the Bible, dust on the Holy Word, the words of all the prophets and the sayings of our Lord. Of all the other books you'll find, find there's none salvation holds. Get the dust off the Bible and redeem your poor soul. Get the dust off the Bible and redeem your poor soul.
I didn't forget, I just forgot to thank.
Thank y'all.
Hey, Buck, I saw you and Rhonda Vincent. Were you all swapping some hot mandolin licks over there?
Yeah, he plays mandolin too.
Rhonda, he said.
Rhonda.
Rhonda,
Yeah, Rhonda.
plays.
He was
well, he does
demonstrating
too. But
What was he demonstrating?
He was demonstrating how much warmer the tone is as he plays up the neck. But do you know that Buck White was my greatest influence on the mandolin? When I first saw them at a bluegrass festival in Missouri many years ago, and he took a Sunday morning and he came to me, swapped mandolins. I couldn't believe I was holding his mandolin, first of all. But we swapped mandolins, and he spent an hour, maybe two, I'm not sure how long it was, but the first thing he said, you have to use your little finger. I was not using my little finger at that time to play. Could not make a four-fingered chord. In fact, the chord that he was playing there, I learned from him, because I don't see that often. But he said, if you can play in one key, you can play in all of them. And he said, get a song. He said, even if it's Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, whatever the song is, and you get that song that you know so well, and you play it in every key. And he said, so when you're called to play, and no matter if it's F sharp, whatever key it is, not just the open keys that I was used to playing in A, you make sure that you can play it in all the keys and learn them. And I thank you for that, Buck. I love him very much. Love your playing.
She's a fine student. She remembered it.
good memory.
I tell you what, I can't believe they brought a piano to a bluegrass festival. That's sacrilegious,
It's an acoustic instrument. It's acoustic.
I'll tell you that Daddy actually sat in on piano with Bill Monroe out in Texas. When Bill Monroe came to Texas the first time and played some places out there, Daddy
Yeah,
sat
played
in.
some dance halls with him too.
And you, yeah, that's what I mean. And
Yeah. Fort Worth and Dallas.
Bill Monroe with a piano?
Yes, sir.
He knew people
liked
in
it.
Texas want to dance, and he knew that what would help that happen with my band, and maybe some piano.
But when you can play like Buck White on the piano or the mandolin, you can play with anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's really awesome.
Thank y'all for
Thank
going
you,
back
Bill.
and sharing that. That was terrific. The Whites, the original sound. Go whichever way you want to
thank you,
go.
Cheryl.
We'll make sure I didn't make a big pop.
Growing up in West Texas, as you did you hear much of that kind of music?
Well, as fate would have it, I'm glad you asked, Bill. Steve and Rudy and I, before LaDonna was born, we lived in Abilene, Texas.
Thank you.
Our mother was going to enter me in a little talent contest, and our Aunt Nell said, Billy, talk to our mama, said, let them all sing. Mama said, they're too little. Rudy's only two. She said, well, they're in there singing by the hi-fi. Remember the hi-fi? And so Rudy and Steve, we were listening to the Blackwood Brothers, their albums, and we were singing. So Mama put us all in this little, at Hardin Simmons University, talent show. We won the 2, 4, and 6-year-old division. We were the only ones in the 2, 4, and 6-year-old division. But we got a call from a fellow named Slim Willett. Does anybody know who Slim Willett is?
Don't let the stars get in your eyes.
Don't let stars get in your eyes, don't? Well, you don't count for this particular. Guess who was the piano player in the Slim Willett band? Buck White.
Yes,
We've
he
known
did.
them for that long. So, yes, they played dance halls and bars. And, of course, being good Pentecostals, we didn't get to go in that beer joint. I'd never been to a homecoming dance in my life. Dancing was just not part of our deal. So, you know why Pentecostals don't make love standing up? They're afraid somebody will think they're dancing. We'll probably have to cut that out.
Edit.
Let's move right along.
But sure. No, but we heard, explain it to Buck. No, but he really was. He was dance bands and, beer joints and stuff. So it was a
Yeah,
big
but
deal.
what I was really referring to was kind of the gospel, like y'all did a while ago, and the different things, is different from like the old bluegrass
Oh, sure,
gospel.
it is, because that was really the gospel.
'Cause that's what I heard
That was
growing up in the
piano,
Deep
but
South.
we were not exposed to a lot of that, because in West Texas, there wasn't a lot of bluegrass that we knew about.
Yeah.
Because it was,
What about in
honky tonk.
Fitchburg, Massachusetts?
Oh, there's so much bluegrass in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. Not really.
You're looking at it.
You're
looking at it, yeah.
No, I was really kind of being serious because bluegrass music has always been very popular around college campuses, and
Yeah,
I'm thinking
it
of the
really is.
universities up in that part of the country, and also it seems like there's always been big pockets of bluegrass up in the Northeast.
There is. I mean, a lot of people ask, they say, well, what kind of bluegrass would come out of New England? Well, Dan Tyminski. I mean, there's one, there you go, one of the greatest male vocalists ever in bluegrass. So it definitely, growing up for me, it was, as we said earlier, it was listening to the traditional country music and the bluegrass. And there was always a festival somewhere in the spring, summer, and fall, because winter, you wouldn't be able to play instruments too much out there. But there was always a festival somewhere going on that you could go hear, either regional bands or national touring acts.
Yeah. Carl Jackson's nodding his head and smiling.
I
There
just
is a
wanted to-
good
I
bit of
wanted to
bluegrass music up there, right?
Well, I wanted to commend you for a host that can use bluegrass and deep pockets in the same sentence. That's really good.
That's funny.
It's really, really nice. Really nice. I'm from Mississippi. Honestly, there wasn't a lot of bluegrass down in the area where in fact, I remember, as far as I know, there were only 2 banjo players that I knew of when I was growing up learning to play in the area. But it's sure taken off everywhere now.
Yeah.
And we're glad to see that, really glad to see that.
Well, in Mississippi, I mean, people would think the Deep South, they'd think bluegrass music, but when you got into Mississippi, you were very heavily influenced by the blues and the music out in New Orleans. And
Well, my dad, my 2 uncles, they had a little local bluegrass band. We had a little radio show on WLSM in Louisville, Mississippi, and still got a lot of those old tapes, and it's just such a joy to go back and listen to them.
Yeah, well, it brings back a lot of memories to me growing up in Georgia and South Carolina, because that's about all we heard.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't have a acoustical piano with it either.
Well, Bill, Ricky, the girls will know Ricky Skaggs, he's become dear friends with a good buddy of ours, with Barry Gibb. Barry's according to Ricky, not the second most successful, songwriter in the history of the world. And Barry has fallen in love with bluegrass. The bluegrass. He said, I'm tired of pop music. It's not real. I want to see the real thing. So he came to Nashville, the Ryman Auditorium with Ricky Skaggs, and they sang some bluegrass.
And got 4 standing ovations on a bluegrass night.
The thing about
really
it, those
big deal.
songs, he wrote so many of the really pretty harmony songs fit very well that way.
Absolutely.
I mean,
It's all
So it's, that harmony, that's infectious, man. Anybody's gonna love that.
Well, I don't think we've ever had a family reunion show with as much harmony as we have had here today. How about another good song from the Roys?
We would love to.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Excuse me, Bill.
Bill? Well, this song is very dear to me. I'm going to dedicate this to our granddad, our maternal grandfather, Pépère Leblanc, as we know him. In French, that's Grandpa LeBlanc. And this song, I wrote this in memory of him, and I hope y'all enjoy it. It's called Grandpa's Barn.
There's an old rusty tractor sitting there in his barn, still covered in dirt from working on his farm. And there's an old faded calendar from Johnson's hardware store, still says July 1954. And there's a piece of that ladder I climbed where he couldn't see. I smoked my first and last cigarette, and I turned John Deere green. I know he never told Mama. When he caught me, he just laughed and said, "Son, now that won't make you a man." Today the sun was shining as the family gathered round, and teardrops were falling as we laid him in the ground. born. I rolled back the cover on his long white Cadillac. At 10 years old, he let me steer, sitting there on his lap. And there's a picture of Grandma that he kept in the dash, and an old 8-track, the one, the only, the great Johnny Cash. Well, in the corner of his tack room, underneath his cross, well, there's a worn-out Holy Bible, the one that saved him when he was lost. He'd tell me, remember, son, you gotta get down on your knees and thank God for the blessings you receive. Today the sun was shining as the family gathered round, and teardrops were falling as we laid him in the ground. But I knew where I could come to be with things close to his heart. There's a lifetime of memories in Grandpa's bar. I'm reliving a lifetime in Grandpa's bar. I love and I miss you, Grandpa. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Where's the stand at here?
You know, songwriting is painting pictures with words and making people feel that they are there and feeling the emotion. That is a masterful job of lyric writing.
Well, thank you, sir.
The cross and the old calendar still hanging there.
Well, coming from you, that is a huge compliment.
Well,
I appreciate it.
He's right.
comes from a bunch of us in this room. That's
Thank you.
really good.
Wonderful. Great
Thank you.
job.
Yeah, that's terrific. The Roy's brother and sister active, if you missed that the first time around.
No, we're not married. We get that all the time. They ask us if we're married.
People want to know if you're married.
All the time.
All the
So
time.
you guys married? I say no, because one of us wouldn't be on this God's green earth if we were.
They used to, when Jan Howard and I used to sing together, they would ask us, are you married? And Jan would say, yes, but not to each other. So, I don't guess Howard and David Bellamy are married to each other.
We get asked that.
No.
You get asked that
You know, these
So what do
days
you say?
anything goes.
Yeah, well, no, we're
a lot. This
not
is the
married.
first time you guys have been with us on one
Yeah,
of the
it is. It's
family
really good to
reunion
be here,
shows.
too.
Man, it's great to have
Good
you
day
here.
to
Of
be
course,
here on the
several
Kinfolk
people
Day.
in the room have not been here before, but it's great to have y'all. We were talking earlier about the fact that you travel all around the world, which you do. How many days a year you think you probably spend out of the country?
Oh, out of the country?
Yeah.
I don't know. We did.
This year, let's just think this year.
We
I
did.
can't
Well, we
remember
did 3 pretty big tours of Europe this year.
And they last about
2 or 3 weeks.
3 weeks,
Yeah.
normally 3 weeks. So
You're out of the country a lot.
a lot, yeah.
Quarter of the time. But you still come home and you still go back to,
Oh, yeah.
is it Darby, Florida?
Darby, Florida. It's like a magnet. We always go back there.
Yeah. You have a ranch, is it a ranch?
We
or-
do. We have a working cattle ranch, yeah.
Yeah. Now, who looks after all of that while you're traveling?
We have a family that works in our office, and they have sons, and the whole family does just whatever needs being done. They're a real trustworthy family, and we leave them in charge. We come home, and everything's usually in order. And cows may be in the yard when you get home, and if it's a weekend, or your dog. We came home one time, and I have a lab that weighs about 100 pounds. And I was going to go for my normal walk with him, and I went out to call him, and I heard him whining, and I couldn't figure out where in the world is he. I didn't think to look in a tree, of course, but I kept looking on the ground for him. All of a sudden, I realized that's coming, and I looked up, and he had gotten into a tree.
Wow.
And to this day, we actually have photos of it, if you don't believe this story. But he got in a tree, must have been there a couple of days, and came home. And, yeah.
We had to get the tractor with the
tractor
forklift
with
to
the
get him
lift
out.
up to get him down.
Oh my God.
Lee, there's your song.
There it is.
Put
My
that to
dog on the
music.
tree.
Yeah. So, well, being in Florida, do you raise any citrus, oranges, or grapes?
Yeah, so we were born in an orange grove, yeah. But neither one of us like hoeing orange trees. We grew up with, we were professional hoers when we were growing up.
A hoe was a whole different thing.
Yeah, a whole different thing in those days, yeah.
I think rather than pursue that we need to. How about another song from you redneck guys over there from Florida?
We got Baptists making love standing up and whores, and it's taking a turn right into the dumper.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it.
Hey, you guys, while we were getting your instruments and all there, you've just recorded a gospel album.
Yes, just released it about a month ago.
Okay, now is this old time gospel songs, new things that you've written?
It's a little bit of everything. They're all original except we did two. We did like one old rock gospel song, which is "Spirit in the Sky," the Norman Greenbaum song, and we did a really old timey song called "Supper Time" that we did with our sister. Our sister
sings as well.
Sings as well. And we did Supper Time with a reggae feel, and our sister singing an old Baptist harmony on there. Wow. So it's kind of cool.
That alto part.
Yeah.
That part no one knows what it is.
But the rest
you've
is
done
original.
one gospel album before, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 6-7 years ago. Yeah. But yeah, it's being received pretty well.
This is not a gospel song.
No.
No, I don't think it is.
No, this is not.
This is born in Texas honky tonks. Right?
Yeah, this is a Texas honky tonk.
Yeah, right.
Here, redneck girl likes to cruise in daddy's pickup truck. And a redneck girl plays her heart when she's down on her luck. Living for Friday afternoon. Gonna show one old boy that we can move on. And I pray that someday I will find me a redneck girl. A redneck girl likes to stay out all night long. She makes sweet rock and roll while she listens to the country song. She's waiting on that moment of surrender. Her hands are callous, but her heart is tender. And I pray that someday I will find me a redneck girl. Yeah, give me a redneck girl. Yeah, give me a redneck girl. Kiss on her lips for a man and no one else. Coyotes howling out on the prairie. First come love, and then come marriage. And I pray that someday I will find me a redneck girl.
curious about one thing. What do they think a redneck girl is in Switzerland or New Caledonia?
You know, we find they're everywhere.
Does it have the same meaning?
Well, it's kind of like being a cowboy. You know, a cowboy. Every country has cowboys.
And rednecks.
And rednecks. You know, there's British rednecks and
Truck
German
drivers
rednecks.
in every country.
And truckers. There's truckers everywhere. In fact, we play trucker festivals in Switzerland that are, 8,000-10,000 people. Wow. That are just trucker weekends and stuff like that.
We were on tour with them, for 20 years. We'd do shows. One of the reasons I love, well, first of all, they're great guys, and we loved hanging out and loved making music. But I'd stand over on the side. All harmony singers want to do what? Be the lead singer. Guess what? All of us lead singers want to sing harmony. We never got to. And I'd stand over there every night and sing the third part up above it. I love it. It's great to see.
Well, the story I heard was that you stood over there. You want to tell that, Dave?
Oh, man.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I'm just repeating what you told me.
This is just not right.
As I remember it, I used to wear chaps on stage. Just
I'm
old
sure
Western.
glad those days passed.
And I left a pair of chaps in the dressing room. I had an extra pair. I had them in the dressing room. And Larry decided to put them on while we were on stage.
And when you're part of Canada, we're
Quebec,
Quebec,
up
I
in
think.
Canada.
Yeah.
He decided to put them on, except he didn't wear anything under them. And he decided to moon us during the show.
Larry?
But the problem is we saw it and we were like, oh my God, please. But he didn't realize that about half the audience could see him. So it was not a pretty sight.
Well, I wasn't always living at the foot of the cross. You know what I'm saying? We had some great times, though.
Yeah, we did.
Great times. God bless. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Woo! Howdy.
That's one of the stories we can tell.
I said earlier that Jeannie Kendall and Carl Jackson, I realized later, and myself were the only people in this room not physically kin to anybody else in this room. And they asked me to include a song on this show, and I'm thinking, well, I don't have any kinfolks here, and this is... By the way, do y'all say kinfolk or kinfolks?
Kinfolks.
Yes.
I've always said it with the S, kinfolks.
Yeah, kinfolks.
Yeah. Somebody forgot. Larry, you want to go around and write the S on all the...
Anybody got a Sharpie? We can have that sucker fixed. No time.
I thought if y'all would allow me to just adopt everybody in the room here and play like we're kinfolks, I'd like to get you to help me do a song, if you would.
Do we know it?
Larry, it is so simple. There's one word, and if you need a cue card, I'll get you one.
Okay. Well, y'all screwed up kinfolk. What do you think the chances? That's just one word.
When I made this record years ago, way back in way before Savannah and Sarah came along, and most of the rest of you, I had the fantastic Anita Kerr singers in the studio with me, and they added, they were normally, a 4-piece group, I guess, and sometimes 6. Well, to do this particular session, I think there were either 10 or 12 of them, because Owen Bradley had envisioned this to sound like, a really big group of people, and they had the most incredible sound. They sang one word with a little bit of an echo kind of a thing to it, and I've always wondered what the success of this song would have been without them. It probably wouldn't have been very much. So if I could get everybody in the room one time, just to hit me an E flat, Mike. Hit me an E and I'll go flat. All I want you to say is I'll count everybody in. 1, 2, 3. Still. Don't drag it out. Just Owen told the Anita Kerrs that night, I'll never forget it. He said, I want it to sound like a little bell. Still. And that's kind of what they make. We'll practice it one time. 1, 2, 3. Still.
Though you broke my heart.
Come on, there's a lot of great singing talent in this room. Sit up straight and take a good deep breath, and everybody help me with this, because I need all the help I can get. All right. Me and all of my kinfolks, and my adopted brother Larry. Though you broke my heart, though we're far apart, I love you still. After all this time, you're still on my mind. I love you. Yeah, help me on that part too. I've lost count of the hours, and I've lost track of the days. In fact, I've lost just about everything since you went away. Everything that is, except the memories you left me. And that's one thing that no one can mar. I don't know who you're with. I don't even know where you've gone. My only hope is that someday you might hear this song, and you'll know that I wrote it especially for you. And I love you wherever you are. After all this time, you're still on my mind. I ain't singing this to you, Yankee fan. The soul flame in my heart is like an eternal fire. For every day it burns hotter, and every day it burns higher. And I haven't been able to put out one little flicker, not even with all of these tears. My friends all think I'm crazy. Maybe I am, but I'll carry this torch just as long as I can. For someday, you might just decide to come home. And I want you to know I'm still here. After all this time, still, you're still on my mind. I love you still. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Will, that's the first time I ever had a guy come up and introduce himself to me while I was singing that song.
Well, we hadn't met before, and I just got the moment kind of got to me, and
that's true.
Yeah, and I still love you too, Bill. Still. Seriously. Yeah.
You are your daddy's son, aren't you?
No, he is his daddy. It's not even re-engaged, he just is.
I mean, can't help it.
The apple don't fall too far
from the tree.
Thank y'all for
that. Was beautiful.
For that. Well, it was beautiful because y'all made it beautiful. Thank you very much. I love the little church sisters down there. This is the first time I've ever met y'all. But how do you feel being in this room with all those ancient people with songs you've never heard before?
I'm just so honored to be a part of this and be here. I mean, you all are just so great, and I just feel so welcomed, and I mean, it's so relaxed in here. Everybody's just been so nice to us, and I just want to thank y'all for that.
Yeah. Well, you're the future of what we're trying to do. And unfortunately, we won't be here forever to do it, so it's going to be people like you that are going to take it on. And
hopefully we can continue the music as good as y'all have done it. I mean, I don't think we'll be able to do it as good as y'all have done it, but hopefully we can continue.
You do it already, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
already doing it extremely well.
No.
Can we get another song from you guys? And our buddy Carl Jackson? Carl, I think you said that this particular song, the first one you're going to do, is a self-recorded, self-produced project.
Yeah, I believe this is the title track of their new record here. That
Okay, if somebody wanted to buy a copy of
jump
your...
right in there and tell them all
I
about it.
Wandered by Brookside, or There's You?
No, this is
Oh,
There's
okay.
You.
I'm confused on which one we're doing here. This song, our cousin Josh Pickett wrote this one, and he's got a lot of songs that he's written, and he's such a good songwriter. But we made this one the title track to our newest album, There's You. So that's the song that we're going to do for you tonight. There's You.
Find the one who'll help me walk back through. Just when I'd given up, I thought that I was through. I turned around, and there stands you. There's you. Somewhere up above, there's you. With your everlasting love, there's you. You'll never give up, and if I want to, just what I'm gonna do. There's you. Well, I can't help but wonder just how you came along. I've never felt a love or feeling quite this strong, and if I ever feel all alone, you're always there, like the love that carries on. There's you. Somewhere up above, there's you. With your everlasting love, there's you. You'll never give up, and if I want to, just what I'm gonna do. There's you. As the years they're all past us, we're still hanging on. Nothing comes between us, we're still standing strong. We'll be right here together till our dying day. We got something special no one can take away. There's you. Somewhere up above, there's you. With your everlasting love, there's you. You'll never give up, and if I want to, just what I'm gonna do. There's you. There's you. There's you. There's
Church Sisters. If somebody wanted to buy a copy of your CD, where would they go to
They
do
can
that?
visit our website, thechurchsisters.com, and all our information and information to get in touch with us. And if you want to buy a CD, of course, they're on there too. So y'all visit the website.
I imagine that probably goes for everybody in the room. Everybody's got a website. I'm sure that the people can
Well,
find.
we've got a website, but I've got some out in the car if anybody... I'll go get them right quick.
Gavin Brothers, got
Carl,
Yeah.
I don't
What
know if
about
we can
that?
I don't know if we can get a close-up on this or not, but every guitar player, I'm sure, knows that this little instrument is called a capo, but I have never until this minute seen a capo with a tuner built into it.
What about that?
Yeah, who thought of that?
You know what? I don't
Rich
know.
guy.
It's made by Planet Waves. Yeah, a rich guy, exactly.
So when you slide it up and down the neck, it can tune to different
Sure,
positions
absolutely.
and so forth?
It's chromatic,
Do
absolutely.
they have one for the throat?
I need one these days.
That's quite a
Isn't that
gizmo
neat?
there.
Yeah, Rory Feek told me about that and sent me one.
Joey and Rory. That
Joey and
Rory?
Rory. That Rory,
He's an
absolutely.
amazing man. I think y'all have another song. Don't you tell me about this one?
We do.
Yeah, Carl was kind enough to put us on an album called Mark Twain, Words and Music. And, Carl is all about perfection. And we had to learn that the hard way when we went in the studio, which they nicknamed the torture chamber.
This girl is going to be a big star, I tell you.
And it took us a long time to record this song because it was just, he's good at what he does, and he's just all about perfection. And
He's brutal, though, isn't he,
oh,
Savannah?
yeah. Rhonda knows about it, too. She was also included on the album, and let me tell you, her song was just amazing. And it was just a really great album, so we're going to do the song off of that one. This one's called Wandered By A Brookside.
This was originally recorded by Eva Cassidy. And these young ladies, I just had to have somebody, I just wanted to have them, make them a part of this record because they're so awesome.
Thank you. I wandered by a brookside. I wandered by a mill. I could not hear the water, the murmuring, it was still. Not a sound of any grasshopper, nor the chirp of any bird, but the beating of my own heart was the only sound I heard. The beating of my own heart was the only sound I heard. Then silent tears fast flowing when someone stood beside, a hand upon my shoulder, and I knew the touch was kind. He drew me near and nearer. We neither spoke one word, but the beating
was the only sound I heard. The beating of our own two hearts was the only sound I heard.
Good hands right there.
Thank you, Carl.
Sarah, you don't let Savannah do all the talking, do you?
Yes, I do.
Do you really?
I
I wonder how long that'll last.
Well, you know, it's people like y'all who put the auto-tune company plumb out of business. Golly.
Carl, thank you so much for bringing them and sharing their talent with us.
Thank all of you.
And with all of our friends and our viewers.
This is just
you know, Bill, you think about something. Just think of your own lives right now. If it weren't for Dottie West, not thinking I could write a song to bring. Carl's done it. How many of us? We weren't just born full grown in this thing. Look back and think who it was. That one person or somebody that brought you to Nashville.
Jim and Jesse.
Gave you a shot at it.
And then Glenn Campbell later on.
So Carl, God love you. This is, whew, girl.
It's a wonderful thing to be doing. Thank you, girls. Wonderful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And you're right. You're right. Jimmy Dickens has a little story he tells sometimes, and he says, when you see a turtle on top of a fence post, stop and remember he didn't get there by himself.
Thank you very much.
That's right. Somebody had to put that turtle up there or to help that somebody. The Whites, I want to hear, we heard on the opening part of this segment the original sound of the Whites with the upright bass and Buck on the mandolin, and Rosie, bless your heart, had to sit in the corner on that one. Come back up here and let's wrap up this segment the way we started it with a great song by the Whites. Come on, Buck, you can. Buck's playing the sympathy card again.
I would help you. I'm tethered to my chair, Buck. I would help you.
He's tied down. Where's my man?
You play piano on this one, Dad.
On the other side.
Yep, Buck gets on the
back to the
piano on this one.
piano.
Where did y'all learn this song from? We talked about learning the other one from the Bales Brothers and Kitty Wells.
We first heard it was an old folk song.
I know it.
And we heard it by the Osborne Brothers. I'm sure you did too, Fair and Tender Ladies.
Yep.
But when we started thinking about recording it, we wanted something we could get Emmylou to sing with us. And so Sharon had the idea about this song. She went to Eddie Stubbs, our Opry announcer and the Encyclopedia of Country Music, and he gave Sharon an old recording of the Carter
I just wanted to be sure there
sisters.
wasn't any more verses. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you didn't go thinking you were going to hear this.
No, I did not.
She really asked him about the words.
I already had the arrangement in mind. We had sung so many times with Emmylou and with her singing the lead always, and I'd always sing the high part, and Cheryl sang the middle part. But we all three sing all parts, and the idea that I wanted to do was for each of us to sing a lead and harmonize with the others and kind of switch it up, all in one song. And so we thought of that, and like Cheryl said, we got this. I asked Eddie if he knew if there were any more verses to this song than what I knew, and so he brought us the Carter Sisters version, and those girls had done that song. Each one of them took a verse.
Helen, Anita, and June. It was awesome.
So were there more verses?
No more verses than what we had already sung.
Wow,
it worked out perfectly.
So many of those old folk songs have, more verses.
Yeah, that's right.
Now.
And in fact, on a lot of the old folk songs, you'll hear the same verse, like "Who will shoe your pretty little foot" and "Who will glove your hand." That's in several different kinds of songs. I don't know which one it was in originally. But this one just had the verses that we'd learned from Bobby and Sonny, and not a better trio.
I think Red Allen was singing with him at that time, wasn't he?
I asked Eddie Stubbs just recently, and he said it was either Red Allen or Benny Birchfield. Who
Either one, it was
Awesome
good.
either
Let's
way.
hear the Whites' version of this great song.
Come all you fair and tender ladies, take warning how you court your me. They're like a star on a summer morning. They first appear and then they're gone. They'll tell to you some loving story, and they'll make you think that they love you well. In a way they'll go to court some other and leave you there in grief to dwell. I wish I was on some tall mountain where the ivy rocks are black as ink. I'd write a letter to my false true lover, whose cheeks are like the morning pink. Oh, love is handsome, love is charming, and love is pretty while it's new. But love grows cold as love grows old and fades away like morning dew. Come all you fair and tender ladies, take warning how you court your men. They're like a star on a summer morning. They first appear and then they're gone. They first appear and then they're gone. We're glad that was over.
Rosie and Cheryl and Sharon and Buck, the Whites. Fantastic.
Thank y'all.
Great job. Great job. We got to take a break. More after we come back.
All right. I dare you close your eyes and tell me which one of them is singing. You know, it's just, that's that thing you're talking about.